Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Matt Rhule, the Nebraska Cornhuskers, close out the 2024 class with some serious momentum, landing another commitment on signing day in three-star defensive lineman Keona Wilhite from the state of Arizona. And this was a massive commitment. We talked about Keona Wilhite a little yesterday as being a target Nebraska was gunning for. And what I think is so massive about this commitment, one, huge fan of the prospect and the potential he has as a college football player. We'll dive into the film in just a little bit. But in terms of this class in 2024, again, something we talked about yesterday, this was a very complete class for Nebraska. Right, you look at the quarterback position, you bring in guys like Dylan Rhule, Danny Kalen. You look at the offensive line, you land some top offensive linemen in Grant Bricks, Preston Tumoa. You have a lot of playmaking wide receivers, obviously throwing Carter Nelson. There were a lot of boxes being checked for this Nebraska class. That one position group that you look down, kind of up and down on that Nebraska 2024 class and said, hey, maybe they could add one more body to, was on that defensive line. Matt Rhule turns around and lands one of the best uncommitted defensive linemen in that 2024 cycle in Keona Wilhite. Want to talk about Keona Wilhite, talk about what he brings to the table for this Nebraska program. Before we get into it, as always, just want to say thank you to you guys. And as always, a massive shout out to the Nebraska fans. Went to the dirty laundry to throw on the Nebraska gear for the second commitment of the day. Cannot thank you guys enough for all the support you guys continue to show the boys. This is something I love doing, and I really just, it means so much with all the support, all the Go Big Reds you guys have been sharing with the boys. If y'all do enjoy the content, you enjoy the updates, consider subscribing to the channel. And without further ado, let's get into Keona Wilhite. And this is a funny story because I remember talking about his teammate in five-star defensive end Elijah Rushing this summer, and watching Elijah Rushing breaking down what he brings to the table for the Oregon Ducks. I couldn't help but notice the other defensive end just wrecking havoc on that defensive line. It turns out to be Keona Wilhite. So a guy that I've had some experience watching over the last couple of months, and a massive get for Nebraska, right? He was committed to the Washington Huskies, backs off his commitment when Kalen DeBoer leaves, and Nebraska turns around, turns up the heat on Keona Wilhite, lands him in this 2024 class. Now, getting into some things that I really like about Keona Wilhite. One, the frame, 6'5", 240 pounds, a ton of length, and gives you a lot of versatility, right? This is a guy that I could see getting up to 280, 290 pounds, playing that three-tech position. Certainly has the power in the frame to do that, but also phenomenal athleticism on the edge. And we talk about this all the time. The versatility in terms of this Nebraska front is really important. And you're seeing Tony White really identify guys that can do a lot of different things on the defensive side of the football. And a guy like Keona Wilhite, I mean, a lot of power as an edge rusher, kind of just overpowering tackles at times with that length and the power in his hands. And then when he kicks onto the inside, you see him win with that first step and get off with against a little bit more unathletic interior offensive lineman. A lot of different ways Keona Wilhite can win, a lot of different positions he can play on the defensive side of the football. And what the comp I gave him, kind of Cam Lenhart vibes from that 2023 class in terms of a guy coming in around 240, 250 pounds. You might see him at that three-tech. You might see him as an edge rusher. A lot of different things Keona Wilhite can do. But I think one of the things that really jumped out to me, and you're going to see this on the film, is the motor. And this is something that we consistently talk about for this Nebraska defense. When you watch Nebraska play defense, they play extremely hard. They don't quit on plays. And you see that from Keona Wilhite on the high school film. And that's kind of rare when you're talking about these top high school prospects. And Keona Wilhite consistently shows that effort. He continues to pin his ears back, go after quarterbacks. He chases down runs from the backside. I think he fits Nebraska's scheme really well, but I think he fits the culture really well for Nebraska as well. Want to get into the film a little bit, talk a little bit about what we see, what he brings to Nebraska. First thing you see is one, kind of working more at that three-tech position inside of that tackle. Extremely good get-off, gets into the backfield, blows up a block, makes a play. And this is a guy that has really, really good twitch for someone who's 240 pounds. Now you see him working against the tackle and using that length and power in his hands to kind of just run that tackle right into the quarterback's lap. This is a guy that might not be like the Prince Will U bendy bursty, but more of a Cam Lenhart, heavy hands. We're going to collapse pockets and kind of cause quarterbacks to have those muddy pockets. That's what Keona Wilhite really brings to the table. Continuing the film, you see him continue working on the inside here, splits the double team, really, really good closing speed here. I mean, he gets after. You see the athleticism for someone 240 plus pounds, really good close, takes on a block here, sheds it, makes a play. That's pretty standard. But I think one of the things that fired me up the most when I was digging into Keona Wilhite's film a couple days ago, look at the athleticism in terms of playing in space. And this is something that is so important at the modern college football era, right? Teams are going to try to get the football to the perimeter. Do you have the ability for your defensive lineman to go be a force on the edge? You see Keona Wilhite, a little swing pass here, gets outside extremely quickly, and you see the motor. I mean, this dude is hustling to the boundary and makes a play on the ball carrier. That's the type of stuff that I really get excited about for Keona Wilhite. Again, keeping that outside shoulder free. This is stuff that is going to let you play early, right? In that run game, playing with good leverage, keeping that outside shoulder free. And then you see him on the edge, going down, making a play. Really, really excited about what Keona Wilhite brings to the table. And I think you look at this Nebraska class and you don't really have many more questions about what they're bringing to the table, right? They have their quarterbacks coming in. They have some really explosive wide receivers. They have a very, very strong offensive line class coming in. And make no mistake about it, that is where Matt Rhule envisions this program dominating. Along the line of scrimmage, you bring in a guy like Keona Wilhite, you feel good about the defensive class or defensive line class coming in my opinion, was kind of the missing puzzle piece for Nebraska in this 2024 class. They go lock them up. Extremely excited. We'll probably do a longer breakdown of this Nebraska class in 2024. Wanted to hop on, give you guys some of my thoughts on Keona Wilhite. Appreciate you guys always rocking with the boys. It's been a blast the last couple of weeks. We'll continue to keep you guys updated for Nebraska on the high school recruiting trail. And if y'all do enjoy the content, you enjoy the updates, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.